It is Sunday afternoon, and welcome to a Mitch'n Mauck'n about the card short hop. I'm Mitchell, and say his name, and he appears. Tyrell Mock joining us from Superstition Ranch in Arizona. Lots to get to on this Sunday afternoon show. The Cardinals have not played today. They play the Sunday night baseball game of the world. The Little League World Series softball game's going on. That's kind of exciting. Tyrell, do you like the Little League World Series stuff?
I do. I think it's fun. It brings a little bit more interesting stuff to the game and allows more kids involvement. So I do like that.
Yeah, I watched a crap ton of Little League baseball in the last 2 weeks, and kind of fun. We had our first kind of brawl the other night in Little League baseball, which was kind of fun. Kind of see where the game's going now. Several former MLB guys have played in that throughout the years. The one I remember most when we were in college was Danny Almonte. The guy was like,
Hmm.
17, pitching 12-year-old baseball, and he was, the next Nolan Ryan, whatever. I think he's flamed out, since then, probably working at a factory somewhere. If you know where Danny Amonte is, hit him up in the comments. If you can find him on social media, bring him on. We'd love to have him on the show. Let's
Yeah,
go ahead
that'd be
and get
awesome.
into it. There's only been two games because, again, we're going to shoot this a little early today with the Sunday night game of the world. Friday night, the good feeling. Giotti's back in the dugout. Jordan Walker monster game. Big win for the Cardinals. And then yesterday, same old, same old. Tyrell, what is your instant reaction to the first two games of this series?
I loved Friday night's game. The standing ovation Yachty got. I thought McGreevy pitched a hell of a game. Good on him. I liked seeing him. I'm like, why didn't we bring him up earlier? Why do we keep Eric Fetty and Miles Michaelis so long? Last night I turned the game off after the second inning. I wasn't watching that, and I was like, nope, no, thank you. I'll go watch preseason football. I'll do something else like this game. And plus, there was just so much blue in that crowd. Hated it. I just can't. I know the tickets are cheap right now, and so it allows the Cubs fans to come, but it's just there should never be a Cubs fan behind home plate in that view of and seeing that just tore at me. So I turned it off. At 5 runs, 5-0. I was like, I'm out of here. I'll do something else with my night.
And they never really put up to fight. It's sad. I would rather watch preseason NFL than a regular season Cardinal Cubs game. But there was just no fight in them whatsoever. The point you brought up
How do
about
you
the
keep pitching to Michael Bush?
I was hitting like what 210 coming in, and then just looked like prime Barry Bonds against the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And what? With that, let's go to our next point. The St. Louis Cardinals currently are on pace for 2.2 million in attendance this year. That is down from 3.3 way back in 2022. Tyrell, in the last 3 seasons, they have dropped 1.1 million customers. Now, don't get me wrong, in 2022, you had the Yachty and Albert reunion tour, the one last kind of ride there. They kind of drove, maybe spiked those numbers up a little bit, but you had a 23-year stretch there starting in 2000 with 3 million people running through the door at Bush. And I believe it was you set off air 18th in the league in attendance this year. Normally they are top five, top 10. And you kind of just look through it. Miles Michaels had a quote this week. If you want a better team next year, buy a ticket. Come down to the stadium and boo me and support the payroll for next year if you really care, said Michaelis. Buy a ticket and come boo me on the field so you can at least support the guys next year. And maybe they will go out and get some free agents you want. Uh, Big talk for a guy whose ERA is over 5.5. And you take his first year of 2018 where he won 18 games. He's been an under 500 pitcher with an ERA over 5. When you're winning, when you're a winning pitcher, you can say whatever you want. You're colorful. Now you just kind of look like an asshole. Tyrell, what business? I know you're in the kind of the professional sector. Can you lose a million customers in 3 years and everything still be fine?
No business. And I don't understand how they keep thinking that they're going to be viable. I think it this really harkens back to the 80s when Anheuser-Busch was trying to get ready to sell the company or sell the team. The same thing is happening right now with this. They're slashing payroll, trying to rebuild, not really meeting fans' needs and making an overall experience. Like you said, 18th in the standings. I mean, we're usually competing with the Yankees and Dodgers for people coming in to see the Cardinals, and it's been it's the Mo fatigue, it's the lack of accountability fatigue. The I don't think we're over the Cardinals themselves, a team. Like we still supporting the players. I mean, we're just tired of being mundane. We're never all in. We're never all out. It's always middle of the road. We're going to try to win 83 games because we think that's the viable model now, where you can just get into the playoffs and then you're going to win. That stuff doesn't really happen anymore. You've got to have a top offense. You've got to have a good pitching staff. Like you have to be good. And I think you're seeing that in the stands. And DeWitt's also been has said, not DeWitt, this Mo has said that the Cardinals fans will not come out and see a rebuild team. And I think they're completely and totally wrong on that. Like we will come see a rebuild team. We're fine with it. We want to grow with these players. We're excited about this team. But it's just the thing that you're lying to us and telling us all the time, like, oh, we're going to compete when you never really do compete.
It goes back to the Build a Wit, the third quote from last year about chuckling when he sees the comments of "we're not going to show up," and well, the attendance they say is what drives the payroll, etc. And we talked about it before. Fans didn't show up. Well, they didn't spend any money, and so now it just becomes this vicious cycle over and over again that we're not going to show up until there's a clear driven point or direction of the team instead of just flatlined up or down. Let's make a decision, and then we as fans will make that choice. But the DeWitt's refusing to sign anybody other than Phil Maton, who they ended up trading away. It just kind of shows you where there's a disconnect between the consumer and the product at this point. Um, do you think there's anything to It's expensive to go to a ball game. Do you
Yes.
think I know you just went to a couple games out in Arizona, probably spent about $1,000, if give or take, for 2 days worth of entertainment. Do you think the economy has anything to do with it? Again, 1.1 million people in 3 years. There's not a CEO in America that the stakeholder will look at that like you've lost 1 million customers, you'd be fired.
I don't think it's the economy. I think but people still pay for entertainment. You still got everyone else is selling out for concerts. I mean, movie theaters aren't anymore, but I mean, everybody still goes. They want entertainment. So, and this is a big entertainment thing for St. Louis, a real big entertainment driver. And if you're going to say that the attendance drives payroll, then why wasn't our payroll in the top 10, top five the last 10, 15 years? Because if that's the case, we've been in the top half of attendance. So you can't lie and say that's what's really happening. You're just trying to BS your way through it and chuckle at that. And those comments really, it probably helped drive people away. Like if you're going to say that, to be a billionaire and say that stuff and not put your money where your mouth is, you really can't say too much more than that. Like he's just tone deaf. Again, this organization has become tone deaf, and I hope Chaim Bloom is a much better media man than Mo ever has been, because he's not there. DeWitt the third does give pretty good interviews and is regularly on ESPN 101, but it's tone deaf again.
You make a really good point. No matter how bad the economy is, people will always find entertainment options, whether be a little cheaper, etc. And our family's looking at going to Disney. We're both teachers, so we poor. But there's always a way to do entertainment choices. But to that, we talked about it on our last show. The Cardinals are raising ticket prices 20%. People are already coming through the door, so their solution is to raise the ticket prices. And then the garages are like 30, $40 to park. The beer, which I know that's not the shipping cost on the beer. It's literally half a mile down the street. It's still, $9, $10 at the game. Family of four, an average cost, not counting the tickets, it's going to be $250, $300. And if you have a 10-year-old like I do, we're going to have to get food almost every other inning to keep her entertained. We're going to have to hit the Build-A-Bear and all that little stuff around the stadium. So now you're looking at another couple $100. I got a friend, she's a season ticket holder. They're actually going to go to the Cubs Cardinal game tonight. She's like, I don't want to go because I don't want to spend another $400. They've already paid for the tickets, but an additional $400 in just the stuff, the parking, the food, etc. I mean, that has a little bit to do with it, but ultimately it's the product on the field that's keeping people away, in my opinion.
I've always been surprised that Busch Stadium doesn't have the lowest beer costs in the league, because Anheuser-Busch is right down the road. You would think that they just a direct tap right into the stadium. You think they should have the cheapest beer prices, but they don't. It's always baffled me. Hell, if $9 or $10, bro, a beer out here at Chase Field, $15. And that was for the 24 ouncer. So that does get kind of pricey for you, especially when you're like me and drink multiple.
And you're drinking, one every inning.
Yeah.
I mean, that gets pricey quick.
Yeah.
Along with like the schedule and the attendance and things like that, Wainwright was on X, and his quote was, "The Cardinals are going to be playing meaningful baseball in September. They're going to play the Cubs. That series is going to be meaningful. Take out the Cubs game tonight and the Yankees next weekend. They don't play a game until for 18 days from now when they play the Cincinnati Reds against a team with a winning record. I mean, there's a chance to make some room there. 4.5 out of the last wild card when you start today. Then in September, you play the Reds, you play the Brewers, you play the Cubs, you play the Giants twice. Teams that are ahead of you. Is there any hope left? Or are we just trying to fill some content for our show? Do you think they got a run left in them, Ty?
It was August 11th. They were 11 games back, and they ended up winning the World Series in 2011, right? I mean, that's the big story. That's the big thing. I mean, there's a drive. I don't think these guys have it in them. This is a completely different team than the 11 ones, and don't have a superstar. So you have nobody to really push you into that elevated stratosphere that you need to be to win meaningful baseball games. And Wainwright can say all he wants. Like you said off air, he's a good soldier. He's going to say the right things. But the only thing meaningful about that is you're going to maybe have a chance to knock the Cubs out of going to the playoffs. That's the only thing meaningful about that. There's nothing else happening about that. I don't see them really making up too much ground. I mean, we're in the fourth in the standings for a reason, and we're going to stay there. It's a 500 team. They don't have the drive. I just don't see it happening.
Once you clear the Oakland series, the Vegas, whatever they're calling themselves, the Athletic series in September, the thing we're going to try to go to, San Francisco, Seattle, Milwaukee, Cincinnati, Milwaukee, San Francisco, the Cubs, all playoff teams or teams with a chance to go to the playoffs. I mean, there's a chance there. There's a decent chance you can make up some ground, especially looking at the next 2 weeks. Going back to this month, Colorado comes in next. Yankees, who are kind of a sinking ship. Miami kind of fighting for their playoff lives. Tampa, and then Pittsburgh for 4. For the Reds, there's a chance, but I think the last time you and I said, "Hey, there's a chance here. We need to go," or they need to go 7-1. They ended up going 1-7,
Yep.
or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
When we go ahead.
No, I don't. Do you see him doing any ground?
Well, they're still throwing Miles Michaelis out there every 5th day. Palante has looked terrible his last 4 starts. Sonny Gray, Michael McGreevy can't do it all. Libby has thrown more innings than he's accustomed to. No, I would like to sit there and think, hey, we're going to have to do pods every day in September because they're going to be 2 games out, and it's going to be an exciting time to be a Cardinal fan. But, man, I just don't see it. I see it probably becoming a bloodbath and a tailspin like we talked about, where they're going to try to scrap to get to 500 to finish the season.
It's been weird. We fired Mike Matheny because 500 baseball just doesn't cut it in St. Louis. And we've been playing 500 baseball for the last 3 years, and with Ollie at the helm, and nope, he's still there. So it's really weird that the standards have slipped so much for this organization.
Yeah, which used to be, and we've talked about it before, one of the crown jewels in Major League Baseball, with the Dodgers, with the Yankees, the Cardinals. It was all in the same breath. And now it's almost a laughing stock of a franchise. They talk on the pregame show about the big acquisitions and then guys signing long term because they wanted to play in St. Louis in front of the fans. Well, we need the fans to show up to get back to that. Put a product on the field and get us to invest our money in something we want to do. The other thing is, from, let's call it even 15 years ago, there's more entertainment choices. You can watch any movie you can imagine at home with 2 clicks of a button. 1,000 other things to do, especially in the St. Louis area. We can talk about the social economics of downtown at some other time, but there's Top Golf now just in Chesterfield. There's different things to do to spend your money, and you don't have to go watch a Major League Baseball game. Even going down to like independent ball, drive down to Springfield and watch the Double-A. At least that's some hope there. Mm-hmm. My final kind of thought for the afternoon as we kind of wrap up and head for home here. It's September 21st. They're playing the Brewers. That's the final home game. Do you think, in this organization's infinite arrogance, that John Mozeliak is going to get the on-field goodbye that every player gets when they kind of finish up their career. They come out, they make a big deal. There's friends, there's family. They hand him a plaque, a watch, a rocking chair. Do you think the Cardinals are arrogant enough to throw Mo out in front of probably what's going to be 16,000 people on that last home game against the Brewers?
Yes. I think the DeWitts and Mo are just arrogant enough to do that. And I think, isn't DeWitt third a painter? So he's going to paint Mo a nice painting, make it look beautiful and all that stuff. Yeah, I think they're arrogant enough to do that. And they're just going to they're basically just handing him his red jacket right then. I know we bash on Mo and he has done some good things for this organization. I get that. But also, come on. He has also been the villain of this down toward trajectory this organization's been in. But we can't blame all Mo on this either. It's also DeWitt has kept him. He hasn't ever fired him. So, I mean, who's really to blame here? Is it Mo or is it DeWitt's?
I wish someone in my life would love me like the DeWitts love John Mozeliak. I really do. Because, again, colossally screwing up essentially a cash cow. And Mo's made them a lot of money over the years. That's probably where a lot of the loyalty lays as a businessman. But like we talked about earlier in the show, you lose 1 million customers in 3 years and you keep your job. I don't understand the loyalty. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it's been baffling to watch from afar to have this much loyalty when you've seen it and know that the fans are apathetic and know they don't like him, but you just stick with your guy because he's my guy. And I think he did come out and say he doesn't like changing those type of executives like that before, which I kind of get, but also at some point the message gets stale. And that's why leaders sometimes have to find different positions because your voice is just not resonating like it once did.
Well, they bought the team 30 years ago in 1996, which doesn't seem like 30 years ago.
I know.
They've had two GMs, Walt Jocketty and John Mozeliak. I guess you can count Michael Gersh. Have I seen this cat all year, by the
I
way?
haven't seen that dude.
What's
Yeah.
he doing?
Yes. Where is he at?
Where's he been? Literally all season. It's either been Mo or Hein Bloom. Not a single reference to Michael Gersh, so I'm sure he's about to get reassigned to something as well when Mo retires.
Yeah. The funny farm.
Something. He's probably going to be out of baseball. So as we kind of finish up tonight, our last topic to bring fans back in, let's talk about promos. When my wife and I look at going to a game, and you're like, hey, what do you think about this one? Oh, that sounds good. First thing she asks, who's pitching? That's important to her. If it was a Wainwright start, she was going to go pretty much no matter what. Except for the last time we went, it was Wade LeBlanc. So I apologize for that, honey. But her second thing is, what's the promo? And if it's not a cute, cuddly stuffed animal or a T-shirt or a jersey, she's not going to go. So we are a T-shirt jersey promo family through and through. We hate bobbleheads.
Oh, come on. As I got a bobblehead behind me of Lance Berkman, I'm a bobblehead dude. I've got as many as I can since my mom works at the stadium. Like I said, she can kind of help get those bobbleheads for me. Also, I'm a kids run the bases promo guy.
Every Sunday.
Yeah, I love that. It's one of those amazing things. I've got the nice picture of me and my little brother with his daughter and us rounding second. It's great. That's a great family environment, which is what you want. You want to bring those kids to the park. You want them to be lifelong fans. But in my office, I got an Arenado bobblehead. I got Wainwright. I got Roland. I got the Berkman behind me. So I'm a bobblehead dude. I'm a collector of stuff. If you would see my man cave right here and what's around me, it's
Some of
stuff.
those used to go for pretty decent money too. Some of those promo items.
Yeah, they did.
There's been some Yachty Gardner was a big one. Back when Beanie Babies were the craze, there was like a McGuire Beanie Baby night that had people lining up and down the streets 3 hours before. People would go get the promo item and then just leave because that's the item was hot at the time. But that's kind of going to wrap it up for today. The game starts here in a couple hours. We'll be back Tuesday. We'll have a game tonight, a game against Colorado. Well, when we go on air, we'll probably be halfway through the Rockies game. What's your early prediction for tonight, Tyrell? Sonny's going to be on the bump tonight against Gama. Could be a decent one. The lineup's not yet released as of yet.
He's a hard throwing lefty. I could see them actually doing pretty decent against him tonight, but I think it's probably going to be a 4-5 ball game. I think the Cubs are going to pull it out. I think they're just that shellacking they did last night got their confidence back in that offense, which has been needed for them for last little bit. So I think the Cubs are going to win this series and I can win tonight.
Yep. If there's any hope left, you got to get a dub tonight, especially with Sonny on the bump. And then, looking quickly ahead here as we wrap up to the Colorado series. Michael is tomorrow, but go down to the ballpark to boo him.
Please.
You got Miles on Monday, Libby on Tuesday, and then we're going to wrap up Wednesday with McGreevy. So the Colorado series is lining up okay as far as pitching matchings go, but we thought that when they were out in the Rockies that the pitching matchups were going to last. Be kind of curious to see. For Tyrell Mock, I'm Mitchell Jenkins, and this has been a Mitch and Mauck'n Short Hop about the Cards. We will see you Tuesday night.